People who died and came back. What did you experience? When I was 12, I drowned in my cousin's pool. Everyone says I was only out for maybe 2 minutes, but it felt like hours. I remember floating above everyone, watching my uncle do CPR while my mom screamed. The weird part wasn't seeing a light or anything, it was how calm I felt. Like nothing mattered. When I came back, I gasped so hard my ribs hurt for days. Doctors said I was lucky. Still can't swim without panicking a little, but I think about that peaceful feeling sometimes when I'm stressed. Car accident when I was 23. Technically died for about 4 minutes according to the paramedics. No tunnels or lights for me. It was just nothing. Absolute nothing. Like the deepest sleep with no dreams. The strange part was coming back. It felt like I'd been yanked through a wall. First thing I saw was this paramedic with the most ridiculous mustache, and I remember thinking this can't be heaven if they allow facial hair like that. Well, still freaks me out sometimes that there was just nothing. Heart stopped during surgery 8 years ago. I experienced what I can only describe as every memory I've ever had playing simultaneously, but somehow I could focus on any single one. Like my consciousness was everywhere at once. Sounds crazy, but I distinctly remember seeing my 5th birthday party from above the table instead of sitting at it where I actually was. When I woke up, I could recall details my parents confirmed were true, but that I'd never remembered before. Doctors said it was probably just the drugs, but man. I flatlined for almost a minute after an allergic reaction. No bright lights or dead relatives, but there was this weird sense of expansion. Like my awareness just kept stretching outward in all directions. And colors. Colors that don't exist here. I know that sounds insane, but I literally experienced colors that my brain had never processed before. When I came back, they faded immediately, and I can't even imagine them now, but I know they were there. My boyfriend thinks I was just high on whatever they gave me in the ER. Heart attack at 42. Yeah, way too young. Was gone for almost 3 minutes. I didn't see any light or relatives, but I did experience this weird library, like I was in this massive space with what seemed like all knowledge available. I couldn't read anything specific, but had this overwhelming sense that all questions could be answered there. When they brought me back, I cried for hours. Not scared, devastated that I'd been pulled away from that place. Can't explain it better than that. Got electrocuted fixing my dishwasher. Stupid, I know. My wife found me and called 911. I don't remember any of it, but apparently my heart stopped for like 30 seconds. While out, I experienced absolutely nothing. Not darkness, not light, literal non-existence. It was like the time between falling asleep and waking up, but without dreams. Just a gap in my reality. Woke up with paramedics over me and my cat licking my face. Honestly, the nothingness was kind of peaceful, but I'm not in a hurry to experience it again. Motorcycle accident 5 years back. Flatlined twice on the operating table. What I experienced wasn't what I expected. No tunnel, no light, just me floating above a massive ocean at sunset. The water was perfectly still, mirroring the sky so perfectly I couldn't tell which was which. I felt this sense of okayness about everything. Then I heard this buzzing that got louder and louder until I woke up in recovery with the worst headache of my life. Never told the doctors cause it sounded too weird. Overdosed during a really dark period in my life. Clinically dead for almost 2 minutes. This is hard to explain, but I didn't see anything. I felt everything. I could feel every connection I had to everyone I'd ever met, like golden threads stretching across space. Even people I'd been horrible to. It was overwhelmingly beautiful and devastating at the same time. Woke up in the ambulance sobbing uncontrollably. Been sober 7 years now. Sometimes I can still feel those connections if I really focus. Drowned when I was 16. No light or tunnel, but I did experience what felt like a conversation even though no words were spoken. Can't explain who or what I was talking with, but I had this sense of being gently told it wasn't time yet. The weird part was when I came back, I suddenly spoke fluent Spanish for about 20 minutes before it faded. I've been failing Spanish class all year. Doctor said it was probably just oxygen deprivation doing weird things to my brain, but my mom is still freaked out by it. Heart stopped during childbirth. Everything went black. Then I was suddenly standing in my childhood bedroom exactly as it was when I was 10. My grandpa, who died years before, was sitting on my bed. He didn't say anything, just smiled and pointed at the door. When I turned back, he was gone. Next thing I know, I'm gasping awake with doctors everywhere. The strangest part, when I finally got to hold my daughter, she had the exact same birthmark my grandpa had on her shoulder. Still gives me chills. Died for about 90 seconds during a surgery gone wrong. Experienced what I can only describe as a complete review of my life, but not like a movie, more like experiencing every moment simultaneously, while also being able to focus on individual memories. The most unsettling part was feeling every emotion I'd ever caused others. Like, I felt the hurt I'd caused my ex when we broke up, the joy I gave my mom when I graduated, everything. Sounds cliche, but it changed how I treat people. Doc said it was just my brain firing randomly, but Sailing accident. Was under for almost 4 minutes. Didn't see any light, but I did experience this weird sensation of being in multiple places at once. Like I could see my body in the water, but also my mom at home doing dishes, which she later confirmed she was doing at that exact time, and my brother driving, also confirmed. Felt like I could go anywhere just by thinking about it. Doctor said it was likely hypoxia hallucinations, but it felt realer than real. Still get goosebumps thinking about it. Had a massive allergic reaction to medication. Heart stopped for almost 2 minutes. No light, no tunnel, no relatives. What I experienced was this overwhelming sense of understanding everything. Like every question I'd ever had was suddenly answered. The frustrating part is I can't remember any of the answers now. Just the feeling of knowing them. Came back with nurses shouting and my wife sobbing by my bed. For weeks after, I kept having this feeling like I'd lost something incredibly important but couldn't recall what. Car crash, technically dead for almost a minute. I experienced what felt like being in a room with versions of myself from every age, past, present, and future. We didn't speak, just acknowledged each other. The only seemed so at peace. When I came back, I had this memory of my future grandkid's name, which is weird since I don't even have kids yet. Doctor said it was just random brain activity, but it felt so real. Anyway, I got the name picked out already just in case all. Anaphylactic shock from a bee sting. Heart stopped for just under a minute. I didn't see anything. I heard everything. The most beautiful music imaginable, like thousands of perfect voices harmonizing. The melody was so complex but made perfect sense. I've been a musician my whole life and have been trying to recreate even a piece of it since then. Closest I've come is this little 4-note sequence that makes me cry every time I play it. My boyfriend recorded me humming it right after I woke up in the hospital. Hiking accident, fell down a ravine. Was technically gone for almost 2 minutes. The weird thing was, I experienced what felt like years passing. I lived a whole different life, had a job I never had, live in a city I've never visited, even had kids, don't have any in real life. When they revived me, it took weeks to sort out what was real and what wasn't. I still have vivid memories of children who don't exist. Brain's wild, man. Doctor said it was my mind's way of processing trauma, but it felt so damn real. Severe electric shock. Heart stopped for about 40 seconds. No white light, but I experienced what felt like being in every place I'd ever been all at once. I could see my childhood home, my first apartment, my current house all simultaneously. The strangest part was there was no sense of time. Everything was happening at once. And I wasn't scared at all. Felt completely natural. When I came back, I kept telling the paramedics everything is concurrent over and over. They probably thought I was nuts-all. Drug overdose 2 years ago. Flatlined for almost 3 minutes. I didn't see God or angels or anything, but I did experience this overwhelming sense of being forgiven. Not by anyone specific, just this feeling that all my mistakes and regrets were understood and forgiven. When I came back, I sobbed for hours. Been clean ever since. Sometimes when I'm really struggling, I can almost tap back into that feeling, like it left an imprint. Doctor said it was probably just brain chemicals, but it completely changed me. Heart attack at 38, genetic thing. Was gone for about 70 seconds. What I experienced wasn't visual, it was mathematical. Like I could suddenly see, feel, understand the mathematical patterns underlying everything. I was never good at math, but for those moments, I understood everything perfectly. When I came back, I immediately grabbed a pen and tried to write down what I'd seen. Still have the paper, it's just random equations and diagrams that make no sense now. Doctor said it was just random neurons firing, but it felt like glimpsing the code of the universe. Complications during routine surgery. Heart stopped for just over a minute. I experienced what felt like being in a waiting room with other people who were also between life and death. We didn't speak, but somehow communicated. One elderly man told me it wasn't my time yet and pointed to a door. Next thing I knew, I was gasping awake with doctors all around me. The creepy part, when I described the man to my mom later, she went white, said I perfectly described her father who died before I was born. I'd never seen pictures of him.